It's Barbara with my craft studio. I'm here to talk to you about the Get Organized Challenge, Week 8, which is all about traveling with your supplies. I'll be right back. I can't believe it's week 8 already. This is the last week. Looks like Tiffany said there will be one starting in September sometime that is going to be done in cooperation with scrapbook.com. I know sometime, I think before it starts, there's supposed to be a Get Organized Challenge, like sticker set done as the freebie on scrapbook.com. So I may have to place a scrapbook.com order when that happens. Like I said, this week is all about preparing for a crop or just traveling with your supplies in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be for a crop. It could just be going to a friend's house to craft, whatever. Sometimes even just like the most I do travel-wise is I gather some supplies together and I bring them upstairs to assemble stuff upstairs while I'm watching TV. That's as close as I get to traveling, so that's as much into play as this comes for me. The homework for this challenge is to find a tote that you're going to use just for travel. Well, try to use it just for travel if you can. Sometimes that's not possible, but if you can, have it be exclusively used for travel. Create a packing list of crop must-haves. These are things that you would bring with you every time you travel. Spend some time thinking about how you pack these items and how they'll be used. Keep the list in your tote so you can use it every time you pack. If you find that there are some things you always take, you never use, take them off your list. Just as if you find there's something you're always needing and you don't have it, add that to your list. I'm going to say here, one thing you might consider is as you've went through this and you've created your purge pile. I know Tiffany says once it's in the purge pile, you're supposed to leave it there. But I'm going to say if there's certain tools that you had duplicates of that you know you bring every time you travel, maybe put those in your tote that you travel with. Like if you have multiple trimmers, you don't need them all in your craft studio. Maybe pick out one that's a good travel size, put it in your travel tote. Same with like a pair of scissors, rulers, things that you have. Sometimes we end up with duplicates of that we don't really need duplicates of. But if you travel with your supplies and you always are bringing those, instead of having to unpack and pack those items, if you've got duplicates already, just put them in there and then they're always there. Does that make sense? Because, I wouldn't say rush out and buy a second set, but if you already have them, put them to use, and then it'll save you some gathering when you do take trips, because that stuff will already be in your bag. They'll be your travel tools. Decide how much you can do at a crop or an event. Add 20% to that amount, Tiffany says, just in case you can skip eating and sleeping. This would include like the number of pages or cards or whatever project you're working on that you could reasonably accomplish in an hour. Use this as the list for your guide for packing to go to an actual event. And then adjust it based upon your actual experience. So you might think, I can get this much done in, an hour. And then as you're going to events, you might discover that you can do more or less. Adjust that then, and so that the next crop you're more have a better representation of what you can actually do. Share your progress, and then celebrate with your reward. Now, since I don't really travel with my supplies, my homework is a lot different. I do have a tote that I have. Right now it's got extra stuff loaded in it, but because I don't travel that often. But I do have one that if I ever would go to an event, I could bring with me and use it as my packing. I kind of have made a packing list before. Tiffany has a sample one, which, like I said, I will try to do the usual in the description box for this video and put links to Tiffany's webpage for this week, and also to the Get Organized with Hopefully Tiffany group and my Facebook group. And I usually do one at the end of the video. I usually do I don't know what they call them. I should know, but it's just not coming into my head. I usually do a link to Tiffany's channel on YouTube and to the video that she has for this week. I think the videos are actually from the 2022 challenge, because there hasn't been one this year. But I try to put that type of information either in the information box or at the end of the video. In a couple cases it might be both. But my homework for this week is to put the new binders that I got to use. My that pink craft binder that was my reward for last week, which I actually already got on that this morning, and that's done. And the spider binders are going to be my reward for this week, but I've already put them to use. I think I want to try to get my wedding embellishments down and try to get those put away possibly, and I have some paper taker full of flowers that I want to see if I can get those maybe integrated into my scrap rack. One of my big goals this week is to finish doing pickup in my craft room. I have some stuff that's not craft related sitting back here that I really have to get done today. It's budgeting stuff. I got to get that done today. So my goal is by the end of the week, when I do my progress post, to maybe give you a quick tour so you can see, hopefully you can see the progress I've made. I think you should be able to. I still got a little bit of things to pick up, but I can also see the difference myself. I do want to eventually do a better, more thorough tour of my room, and I'm trying to decide, and that's the thing I'm going to ask here. Do you like craft room tours, first off? If you do you like one long video, or would you prefer it broke up into segments? I've done both. I've done a really long one, and I'm not opposed to doing that either. A longer one that kind of just gives a general overview. And then I also have done ones where I've done more in-depth on each area in the room. I did that when I was upstairs in my old studio before I moved down here. So is that something you'd be interested in, and which style do you prefer? Because I would like to do another one. I always like seeing people's craft studios. Maybe I'm alone in that. I don't know. I don't think so, because I think one of my first tours that I did, it might have even been, originally I was downstairs with my craft studio when I first got a dedicated space. It was just in the other side of the room, in what is kind of like my sewing area now. That was my craft studio. It's the smaller of the two rooms. And then when our daughters moved out, I moved upstairs, and I kind of said to hubby, I said, all the different crafts I'm doing, what do you think of me moving my craft studio back downstairs? I said, I know. And I said, then we could make what was my craft studio into your man cave, and the room that was your man cave we could just make into our TV room. I said, and the only reason I'm thinking to switch is because the man cave has a nice wall that has no windows or anything, so it would have been great for the entertainment center, which is why I suggested switching. I said, though, if you'd prefer to stay in this room, we can do that. But he says, no. He goes, I like that idea. He goes, you need more. You need more space. He's like, we kind of talked about the crafting before. He goes, I don't mind you spending the money on the crafting and using the space for that. He goes, it's something you enjoy. He goes, as long as you're using it. He goes, which you do. I mean, there's things that obviously I really need to use up that I have. But I do, now through the summer I haven't because I've been organizing. But normally, well, I still haven't spent time in it. Usually I spend a little bit of time in my craft studio every day. I usually try to do a little bit of a project more days than not. Now, this summer I have been focusing on the organization so that so I can get back to crafting and have it flow easier. I work better when things are organized, and what had happened was we were organizing other rooms and things were just getting stuck down here temporarily, so I ended up with a huge mess. My fault, because I'm the one who stuck it there, but the other rooms needed to be done, so it is what it is. But then with the rest of my homework, it's doing the homework review video, posting the daily reminders in the two groups, and then doing a progress video and post, and celebrating with my reward. Now, I will admit I've already taken the reward for this week, but I'm going to use that as my reward for this week anyways, even though I've already put it to use. A couple of these are kind of maybes. I definitely want to get the binders to use, which I pretty much have done. For me, while the challenge officially started today, I started it yesterday and did that stuff yesterday morning because I'd had my other homework already done. But I want to finish picking up, getting my tables cleared off and organized, because that's where the majority of it is now, is this table, the one that's in front of the window over there, which is usually my die cutting table, and my diamond dot table. It's kind of got a little bit of a mess on it, and then my sewing table has a little bit of a mess on it. My stand-up table's been doing pretty good because the cat likes to be up there, but it does have a little bit left on it. So that's my goal this week, is to try to finish getting those things cleared off. Today, my goal is pretty much to get through my pile of budgeting stuff and get that done. It is HSN Craft Day tonight. Starts tonight. It's midnight Eastern. It's 11 Central. Figure out your own time zones. I'm not good at that. I can do my own. I have a hard time with other people's. But, you can actually go to HSN and scroll down, hsn.com, scroll down, and it has, I forget how it's phrased. There's a daily schedule listed there anyways, and you can switch it to your time zone. Just remember that you may have to, like when I switch it to Central, I have to look over 2 days because I have to start it Monday night, because it starts 11 p.m. Monday my time, because it's midnight Eastern time. So here it's 11 p.m. So instead of being Tuesday, it's Monday. and then it ends before Monday ends. So depending on your time zone, I think everybody will in the US will always be earlier, so you might have to look starting today rather than tomorrow. I'm going to try to get this posted up today. I'm going to try. And then I will try to get down and change the info box. I want to get better about doing that. If you have suggestions for content, I'm open to hearing it. I can't promise that I'll do it. Like, I'm not really good about how-to videos. I usually have to look at somebody else's how-to videos to do things. I mean, I can execute something once I see it, or maybe modify it a little bit, but I have a hard time coming up with a fresh idea off the top of my head. I really admire the people who can do that. It's not me. I mean, sometimes I can say, oh, well, I can take that and just do this to it and, you know, just tweak it a little bit, but to come off fresh from off the top of my head that way, I can't. I need inspiration badly. So anyways, that's what I've got to share. I have one more video to do in this. I'll do my progress post video. I try to usually film that Friday or Saturday morning, depending upon my schedule. It's kind of become Saturday morning because of everything that's going on in my life. But thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.